Hello, this is Richard Dawson, and you're listening to Down in Albion.
And I'm delighted to be joined by Richard Dawson. Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to New York.
Thanks.
We're here at the Poisson Rouge. You're headlining here this evening. Um, is this your first trip to New York, or have you been here before?
No, I've been here twice before. The first time I came with my partner Sally, and I got food poisoning after one day. And so then I was just food poisoned for
Uh huh.
3 days. It's okay. Thank you. I was getting this coffee. Uh, Thank you. Um, So that was good. And then came back and did two gigs here like 4 years ago, 4 years ago,
Uh huh.
maybe at Union Pool in Brooklyn and
Union Pool, yeah.
Public Records.
Oh yeah,
That
lovely
was nice. Yeah.
space.
Both great.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So, food poisoning aside, what are your fondest memories of New York City?
Mm. Maybe, well, I went back to MoMA today because I went there last time and I really liked that. Particularly seeing Agnes Martin the first time around,
Mm-hmm.
which is not on display anymore now.
Mm-hmm.
The painting called Friendship, which had kind of meant a lot to me beforehand, and then to see it in the flesh was great.
Yeah.
It's off display now, but I did see today it had a very big impact. It was Monet's Water Lilies, one of the
Yes.
many. Uh, it wasn't the biggest one they had, but it really floored us today. I was actually, I don't mind telling you, I kind of had a full on sobbing episode in the middle of the museum. But I think that's a good thing.
I think Monet would have been happy with that. What he would have wanted. Have you been to the Met and seen the Monets in the Met? Metropolitan.
No.
It's a phenomenal collection.
Okay.
If you get the chance before you leave.
I hope so. Yeah, maybe Friday if I get back
Yeah,
on time. I have to go to New Jersey.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I'm really excited because I love The Sopranos and I love Ghost Dog. That's all I know about New Jersey. Copland, I love that film.
Uh huh.
That's a classic. So I'm pretty excited about New Jersey.
It'll be fun. I'm only kidding. We have to be mean about New Jersey if we
Oh,
live in
okay,
New
that's
York
okay.
City. It's kind of written into the statute, I think.
Okay. Huh.
So Richard, your headline here at the Poisson Rouge tonight. Uh, it's been a very impressive journey with a lot of musical output along the way. But what was your earliest musical memory?
Maybe like the very first thing I remember some like Fisher Price record.
Mm-hmm. The
Just
little plastic one.
yeah, took
Yeah.
the feel of it, like this kind of grainy feel.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Okay.
one of my first memories overall, but I always think about that. And then in terms of like music played, probably like my dad's cassette collection that he had in the
Mm-hmm.
little briefcase in the car
Oh yeah.
with
Yeah.
things he'd recorded from the radio. So like maybe something like I hear you knocking, but I can't come in,
Mm-hmm.
or like singing along to Hey Jude
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. But he also had like Beefheart and Deep Purple, Rainbow, Jimi Hendrix. Lots of Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm. And what inspired you to first pick up a guitar, pick up an instrument?
I don't know, really. Like, I wanted to play my dad's guitar. He had like this audition guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't allowed to touch it for a long time. But then maybe he started letting me touch it a little bit, and I don't know. It
Mm-hmm.
was always just a kind of no-brainer to get a guitar.
Yeah.
Maybe I fell in love with his first Iron Maiden album, and the video live at Donington 1992,
Mm-hmm.
and I made a cardboard guitar, and I would run around my bedroom and pretend to be Dave Murray. So that was a big thing.
That can be formative, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, in terms of I don't know, it was like lots of these little things feeding. It wasn't really. I had to get a guitar at some point.
Yeah.
You know.
And was there one moment when you realised how big a role music would play in your life?
No, I wouldn't say there's one moment. Maybe I've been realizing just the last few years how important. I think I took it for granted
Mm-hmm.
uh, that it was even mm, like it wasn't really ever a question.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get middle aged and jaded, tired out, you sort of start to have to ask, well, why am I what am I doing that for? Um, so I kind of have realized over the last 5 or 6 years, most of the good things in my life have come through music.
Through music. It's a time for reflection. I'd certainly recognise that. And
Yeah,
do you ever think about why you write music?
yeah, I think about it a lot. I didn't when I started. It was just like an impulse. It still is an impulse to make up songs. Um, Even more than playing guitar. Actually, I never. As soon as I got the guitar, I wasn't really thinking about learning it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never into guitars. Um, Once I had one, as soon as I got a guitar, I wanted to make up a song.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've just had this. I don't know. I always had this. Um, but like, yeah, your energy kind of changes as you go on, and you have to choose more
Mm-hmm.
to do things. And it is a question of like, uh, especially in the face of like, I think in the face of all like times are so mad now, or at least our, so bulldozed by all this information all the time.
Yes.
Things are much more homogenized in a way, and there's just info coming at us from all sides
Mm-hmm.
that you do. Oh, hello,
Hi,
hiya.
Richard. Do you have any preferences for house music?
Oh, well, what you like? Maybe some nice, good jazz like Sun Ra or
Cool. You want to do like a Sun Ra Spotify radio or something like that?
yeah, something like that. Or it could be. It can get pretty out there. Is maybe the only thing, but
Well, you tell us. We're happy for whatever you want
that's
to,
dangerous.
whatever vibe you want.
Uh, yeah. Let me have a little think, but it's a good starting point, and
Okay,
then
Sun Ra radio will be a placeholder, and if anything else comes to mind.
cool. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, what were we saying? I'm sure I had a good point to make, but
You were just coming to, I think, the writing as a almost an impulse.
yeah. But it changes, and you sort of think like, what is the point?
Mm.
Um, and in the face of like so much, I think that's been a big thing for me is like realizing the difference art makes to me,
Mm.
especially films,
Mm.
probably more than anything else, books. But somehow I didn't translate that to what I was doing
Mm.
necessarily. It's like, oh, maybe it doesn't,
Okay.
should I be doing something more direct or more useful? When I think about like, I really like this program, Ambulance,
Mm-hmm.
which is like about the first responders in the UK, and it's just these people are incredible. Something like this, where you're making a difference uh, so profound every day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with songs, it takes so long
Mm-hmm.
to make an album, and it's so foggy,
Mm-hmm.
and especially the nature of what I do is fog is built into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be didactic
Mm-hmm.
about anything. It's kind of defeats the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're dealing with foggy things, you can maybe get lost a little bit. Feel like, what's this for? Really, am I just indulging myself?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would be okay if it was the case too, but you hope it will. I'm sure it means something to some people.
I've no doubt it does. And you talk about the noise, the almost relentless noise in the world today. Does writing help you to make sense of that, do you think?
No.
No. Because one feature of your writing, I think, is you're such a powerful storyteller. Do you think that's natural within you, the ability to tell a good story?
No. Uh, I would love to be that, but I think maybe in having less narrative, but place it in the context of a song, it kind of magnifies the narrative aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I'd like to get better at that side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think often my songs are like actually don't have too much narrative detail in them.
Mm-hmm.
They might have A to B or, some structural shape or something. But maybe they're more like character driven.
And how would you describe your songs, your music for an audience that perhaps are less familiar?
I honestly wouldn't. I think it sort of defeats the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the security immigration person at the airport asked me what I did. Singer-songwriters. Okay, what kind of music? Some people call it alt folk, and he just started to laugh. And I thought, well, I'll take a laugh. That beats the other options I was entertaining might occur. He just laughed at me.
Yeah. You take that. You got through.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. And you talked previously about your musical influences. They're quite varied. But what about your non-musical influences? What do you think seeps into your writing?
Maybe certain books. Like I really like. At the minute, I'm working on something I think which has definitely been inspired a bit by Thomas Pynchon, Mason and Dixon in particular. I really like Michelle Faber's books. Very great Dutch writer, based in England. Iris Murdoch, those kind of things. And then film-wise, like with the last album, I was really got into watching a lot of the Ozu's films. And they played a big part, but then I don't want to get like fixed on something, and I don't want to be too influenced by anything. Yeah, trying to think what else maybe.
What are you reading at the moment?
I'm actually kind of trudging very slowly again through Mason and Dixon.
Okay.
And I'm reading a book about passenger pigeons by Joel Greenberg, which I've kind of been researching in the last 6 months or so. But I think one day in the next week or so I'll start again The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula Le Guin. What else? There's something else in the mix. Can't remember.
It's a fairly good collection to have on your sideboard.
Yeah.
Do
you like Ursula Le Guin?
Do
you like Ursula Le Guin?
That I haven't read.
She's really good. Earthsea books are like written for young readers, but they had a really big effect on it. So there were, the six of them. Really nice.
Do you ever wonder how a young lad from Tyneside ends up somewhere like this, reading books like that, writing music like yours?
Well, it's available to everyone. I think that's the thing. I remember like when I first started going Waterstones, and it was like, oh, this is fucking mad. Like, some of these books are really out there, like either like really transgressive or like just pure filth. I remember reading this like when I was 20 as a Ryu Murakami, and just like, oh my god, like this is in Waterstones, which I guess is it Barnes and Noble? Is that a bookshop?
It'd be the equivalent here, yeah. Barnes and Noble.
Like it's completely out there, mad art in a very mainstream, just on the shelf. And I really thought that was quite exciting, and it could be sitting next to the most kind of straight middle of the road, thing. I thought that was quite exciting. Maybe in a way, like it's more pronounced than with any other. You kind of have to choose to go into a cinema. You probably would know what you're going to see.
Yeah.
There'd be some kind of warning. In the bookshop, it was like, oh, bloody hell, these worlds are just there. It was a bit like that with the Gosforth Library around the corner from where I lived. Was big. I didn't realise how big a deal it was for me at the time. But they had like a world music section and a jazz section. But they had all sorts in there. They had like, Sun Ra and John Zorn and all this stuff. It was like, this is just in my local library. There's obviously one person there who was keyed into all this stuff.
Yeah.
I always like to hear something new, like to be surprised. I'm quite different from my, I think I'm probably quite different from my family in some way. Like it's quite a sporty family. So I don't know how I ended up getting interested.
Well, we're glad you did. How important a role do you think growing up in Newcastle, Tyneside, living in Gosforth, how important has that been to you?
Well, it's important, I think, because you can't get away with being a twat in Newcastle. People are going to call you out. Is that a really offensive word in America? I know the C word is like...
I think it's okay. I think they're used to it.
The C word is like a term.
Don't use that.
It's a term of endearment where I'm from.
Yeah, my mum's a Geordie. She doesn't use that word.
It's not
I should say.
I don't tend to. But like, like people will keep you right. Basically, it's not like it's a very creative place, and it's always done its own thing, regardless of what's going on in London or in terms of like the funding picture. There's always been, historically it's a very creative area. First electrically lit street. The railways began there, just down the road from where I live now, in Wylam. George Stephenson's birthplace is like half a mile from my house. What else? It's been a centre for genetics, genetic research. It's one of the world leaders on that. Incredible bridges, world first bridges, the Tyne. Designed but not open before the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The high level bridge is the first of its kind. It's got...
And how about music in Newcastle, Tyneside? How would you describe the music scene?
Yeah, good. The same. It's always there's always been things there. Roxy music, Lynn's Farm. Now Pigs. Brian Johnson from AC/DC.
Okay.
Is he Johnson or Jones? Brian Johnson. Sting.
Of course.
Just seeing if I can get a reaction. Who else? There's lots more.
There's lots more. We had one in town from just up the road in Hartlepool Marketplace. The band is called Marketplace. They played in town at a festival here a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know.
Went down very well.
Yeah.
And maybe for an American audience, how would you describe or define a Geordie and what a Geordie is?
It's loose. I think that's the definition is, even in the Northeast, is quite malleable. Some people would say that you have to sort of have been born within Newcastle to be a Geordie, but that's not really right. Maybe slightly looser would be like born either side of the Tyne. But I think again it's changed. You could be a Geordie from, you know, even far out to the coast, even in the County Durham. Maybe it's a certain kind of mindset.
What's the mindset?
Maybe of like not taking yourself too seriously. Very be friendly. Probably there's like daftness in the mix, but there's like it's where anybody who's a Geordie is really proud of being a Geordie, not in some kind of like chest thumping way or like a tribal way or anything like that. Just I think a sure knowledge that we were born in the you know God's own country. But anybody can be a Geordie.
Anyone.
It's a certain
mindset.
attitude, yeah. So like Jonas Gutierrez, who came to Newcastle, is one of the heroes of our club, even despite the fact he wasn't that good, because he was pretty good. I mean, he was bloody good for, you know.
Yeah.
But like, he's not the greatest ever player, but he just was. His heart was just. He put everything in, and he embraced the culture. Yeah, so he's a Geordie. I think maybe my partner Sally is a Geordie now, but sometimes she does a funny voice. She does the accent, and it's like, not sure you're a Geordie today.
But the passion's there, so there's still a
Yeah.
Geordiness behind it.
Anybody from Newcastle feels really proud when people come study here, for instance, or move here for a reason, and they end up staying because it's a lot of good things going for it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like outsider kind of thing as well. It's like a different kind of energy to like Middle England, more in tune with Liverpool and Ireland.
Yeah.
Scotland maybe. Yeah.
Just back then to your music, just to finish off. Is there any artist you can think of that you would love to collaborate with?
Lots, you know. I mean, I'm really lucky that I get to work with Circle at the moment. They're one of my favourite bands ever. In terms of somebody I don't work with, I can think of someone straight away, but we might work together. We're just talking about it, but I won't
Conversations
say.
are
Yeah,
underway,
in
okay.
case it doesn't. You know, I don't want to.
You can come back and tell us if that works.
Yeah. I don't want to unduly pressure them if they see it. But like other than that, yeah, no, I don't know. I have plans to work with two other new people in particular. Beyond that, I think that'll be enough to be honest. I mean,
I'll keep you going.
Yeah, Kate Bush, Björk would be.
Lives just up the road.
What?
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, she might come tonight.
She could be here.
I would put if it's. I don't know when this goes out. Does it go out in the next half an hour?
Not in the next half hour. No.
Put you on the guest list.
I'm not sure I'd recognise her in real life without the makeup and the clothes. Richard Dawson, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And hope to see you back again in New York soon.
Cheers.
Take care.